Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You're listening to That Infernal Noise, now part of the Mental Health News Radio Network. Now on to the show.
As I'm recording this today, it is Sunday. Hopefully that means you'll hear it on Monday, providing I get done with the editing and all that crap. Today I want to talk about people changing, or lack thereof. I've been a creature of change for 37 years. I just kind of roll with the punches. It's not always easy for me. I detest change, but I think that's because as a child I was forced to change so much. It's constantly back and forth between my mom and my grandparents, or so it felt like. On top of changing schools and whatnot, I just never felt like I had my feet anywhere. And I still don't like change today because of all that. I'm assuming it's because of that. I'm not entirely sure. I see so many people that just fly by the seat of their pants, essentially, which is cool. That's what you want to do. Go for it. I'm a planner. Now, my OCD won't let me not be. Try to be punctual. Try to be on time for everything. Everything has a plan. Everything has, okay, we're doing this day with these people, blah, 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 whatever. And over the past, 5 years or so, it's really been longer than that, but for argument's sake, past 5 years, I've really tried to change the person that I am and my perception of a lot. I decided in that time that I don't want to be the cool guy anymore. I don't want to be the hard ass. I don't want to do any of that. It's like I've called it before, the alpha male monkey shit. That's not me. It's 100% not me. And it never really was. I mean, I said the things and did the things that those type of people did, but I wasn't happy that way. It was a character. It was a facade. I've always wanted to be a good person. Whatever that means. I want to take care of people. I want to help people. I want to be around other good people. And since Nisha and I got together, we've been slowly eliminating the bad people from our lives. Well, sometimes slowly, sometimes it was a breakneck speed. Part of me regrets it. Part of me feels guilty about that. Because I'm sure some people feel like I've turned my back on them. Other people couldn't give a shit less. Whichever the situation, it's not really my concern anymore. But I very much dislike change. I think that's more of why I feel guilty, is because I don't like change and it gives me anxiety. And here lately it seems like everything's just changing at a breakneck speed. Everything just seems to be moving so fast and everybody along with it. I'm very much I'm the chill guy. You know, I tend to be happy with very little, if that makes sense. I don't need the fancy house and the car and all that bullshit. I'd still just be driving the car I've had forever now if it wasn't for Niche. She's the agent of change in my life. The agent of chaos, I guess. I spent so much time thriving in chaos that I don't want any of it anymore. And whenever things start changing, I start getting anxiety. I start shutting down, not wanting to deal with it, anyone, or anything for that matter. And I just want to kind of be, I just want things to stay the same. I want things to be quote unquote normal. I've fought very hard to maintain that sense of normalcy. Not just for me. I mean, yes, I do enjoy it and it's part of my peace, but mainly for the kids. Because I grew up in such a chaotic environment, not in my home life necessarily with grandma and grandpa, but just in general. There was never a lack of chaos or drama or whatever. Some of it was self-imposed. I mean, I chose to be around certain aspects that I probably shouldn't have been. But overall, I wanted everything to be calm. I wanted to have some kind of sense of normalcy. And that's why I've spent so much time fighting for that sense of normalcy for the kids. I've had to quote unquote turn my back on so many people because it was no longer beneficial for my children to be around them. And it sucks. It sucks a lot. But I've just gotten to the point in my life where I don't tolerate a lot of shit anymore. And it's things that I would have tolerated whenever I was younger. Even just 4, 5, 10 years ago. But now, as I've gotten older, I've had to accept a lot of things and change my mindset on a lot of things. And it changed so much. Just having kids and having teenagers specifically. The 17-year-old son who is less than a year away from graduating high school now, which I'm not ready for in any sense of the word. A 15-year-old daughter, 4 months away from turning 16 herself, turning into a very strong-willed, independent woman, which terrifies the shit out of me as well. And for somebody who used to be a womanizer, it's very odd to have moments of clarity where you're just like, well, no. I don't want my daughter to think that kind of behavior is okay. And I was a Neanderthal at one point, I'm not going to lie. You can go back to just old podcast episodes and hear all that. But my goal in life has always been to progress. Whether or not I realized it at times. I'm painfully aware of it now. I don't like to stay stagnant, which is weird because I absolutely hate change, and in order to grow, there has to be growing pains, there has to be forward momentum, and all of that. And all of that gives me crippling anxiety. Having to say bye to friends that I never thought I would, having to distance myself from people that I never thought I would because of toxic behavior and toxic traits and things that I just don't want to be a part of anymore. You know, everybody harps on the self-care and all that stuff, which is, I agree with. It's entirely important and it's needed and it's okay and it's warranted. There is a purpose for it. But so often, everybody equates the self-care with, oh, well, I'm going to isolate. I'm going to go off on this vacation or whatever. Something just to distance themselves and recharge. I'm not denying the importance of that. But too often, we still allow other people in our lives that perpetuate the negativity that we're trying to avoid or perpetuate the behaviors that we're trying to change. And I've found myself, especially recently, just not having the wherewithal to deal with it anymore. I am proud of myself that I'm setting clear boundaries now. I'm not afraid to remove myself from negative situations. That was not always my policy. I would always tough it out or try to calm it down or whatever. And sometimes, you know, that's okay and that works out, but there's some points where you got to realize, not that it's a lost cause, but it's a lost cause. Sometimes you need to cut your losses. Sometimes you need to just move on. And if people follow you as you're moving on, great. That means you're growing together. But if you start moving on and nobody's behind you, sometimes that means you got to stand on your own, by yourself. And shit gets lonely. It's very lonely trying to be a good person. It's very lonely trying to be a positive person and trying to just better your life. It's so difficult. It's work. Just like so many other things. And you don't realize how much work goes into it. I'm always trying to better myself. I'm always trying to keep pushing forward, even though it may not seem like forward progress to a lot of people outwardly, because 9 times out of 10, I'm moving in silence. I learned that a long time ago. Because the more you talk about moving, the more everybody's got something to say. Either fake praise or they try to tear you down. Some people will be legitimately happy for you, but I digress. I try to keep moving. I can't say I try to better myself every day, because I'm sure that would be a lie, because I do have my regression days. I just try to be better. As much as I hate change, as much as I fear it, I try to go into it. I try to not let that fear and that anxiety of whatever the situation is control me or prevent me from doing something. I spent a lot of my adult life doing exactly that, letting fear and anxiety control me. And there are certain times where it does get the best of me, and I have to distance myself from whatever the situation is. But there's also some times where I just bail. Not because I'm a flake, not because my anxiety's taking over, but because I am not fucking feeling it anymore. I go with my gut. My gut tells me who I should trust. My gut tells me what situations I should be around, or if I should turn tail and just get out before things get worse. And maybe me bailing is the catalyst for things not to get worse. Maybe if I stayed there or in whatever situation it is, things would progressively get worse. But maybe, just maybe, me making my decisions as they are make me an agent of change. Maybe I'm changing the timeline, or whatever, however you want to put that, instead of going down one path because I stand up for myself, or because I have my moments where I'm headstrong and I know what to do, and I just do it without a lot of regard for other people. Not maliciously or anything like that, but maybe that is what's going to change something. I'm not holding my breath, but I want things to change. I want everybody to be better and have better and be happier and more content and all of that stuff. I do. Ultimately, I want everybody to just find peace. Because especially out of the people that I've known, that I've grown up with, there's not a lot of that to go around for our ilk. And we deserve that too. We deserve peace. We deserve calm. We deserve happiness. And there are times where I feel like I'm the only one fighting for that. Which may or may not be true. I don't know. But I definitely feel like I'm the only one actively fighting for it on a regular basis. I have no problem telling anybody what I think. I have no problem just turning on a dime and saying, nope, not doing this, not feeling it. Okay, everybody's got to go home, or whatever. Now, that wasn't always my policy. Things are kind of sketchy for me right now. I'm still piecing everything together. I'm still working through all of my own shit while still trying to navigate everybody else's shit too. Some make it easier than others. Some make it more difficult than others. But ultimately, I'm just trying to do the right thing. I'm trying to be happy. I'm trying to make sure my kids are happy. My kids are safe. They feel protected. And they can look at their father and be like, he is an example of what a parent should be. Whether or not they do remains to be seen. But that's my total goal. I don't want to be remembered as the party guy I used to be, or, oh, he was such a blast to hang out with. I mean, it's fine if people do think that, but I don't want it to be associated with the drinking or the partying or whatever. It's like the episode of Friends with Fun Bobby whenever he gets sober, which is so funny that his name was Fun Bobby, but that's neither here nor there. But I've felt like that at times, where I feel like I'm the last bastion of sanity. I'm the wet blanket. I was called a wet blanket this past week. It was in jest, maybe. But I'm always afraid of that. I want people to like being around me because I'm a good person, not because I'm the party guy or I drop all this coin on whatever stupid idea pops into my head, and I think that's what people like me for. I want people to like me because I'm a good person, because I like to make people laugh, because I'm a good father, I'm a good provider, I'm a good husband, I'm helpful, I'm a good ear, I give good feedback. Those are the things that I want people to remember me for. He stood up for himself. He taught other people how to stand up for themselves. He made everybody around him stronger. Whether or not that will be my legacy remains to be seen, but I would like to think that that's where I'm going. Or that's the path I'm headed down, at least. And I've been hyper focused on that for, I don't know, the better half of 5 years or so, ironically. We got some stupid team building thing at my last job, and it was asking you about your eulogy. What would you want your eulogy to say? And I never actually did the exercise. I didn't put pen to paper about it, let me put it that way. But that always stuck with me. What would you want your eulogy to say? What would you want people to say about you once you were gone? And I came up with a lot. Coincidentally, all of it had to deal with nobody bullshit. I don't want the, oh my god, he was such a great man, and oh, I was so close to him, and da 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 da. If you were close to me, by all means, pour your fucking heart out. But if we weren't, don't pretend. Because I'm close to like 3 motherfuckers right now. But I want everybody to tell real stories. I want everybody to be like, oh, you remember that one time Dad said da 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 da? And it was something vaguely racist or sexist or something, but it made everybody laugh. Like, yeah, Dad was kind of an asshole. And it makes me laugh thinking about it. And I know it'd make everybody else laugh because I wouldn't want everybody to be sad. I've never wanted that. I've never wanted pity. I've never wanted to be looked at like I was self-righteous or whatever. It's not about that. I want to be better. I want to be a good person. I want to be proud of myself. I want other people to be proud of me. That definitely stems from my childhood shit. I want everybody to talk about those drunken heart-to-hearts we used to have. And I've had them with everybody that I'm close to. Either I was or they were. Some of the more recent ones, I was not. Because those are the memories that mean everything to me. The conversations. I like to fancy myself a conversationalist. I've told Nisha that. I think I've said it on here before. I'm not the most articulate person, I know. I don't have the biggest vocabulary. I'm not the smartest person. I'm not any of that. I just like the art of conversation, the sharing of ideas, people going back and forth, and there being some kind of compromise. Not in changing people's minds about their stances on anything, but a compromise in the aspect of we come to an accord. We understand each other a little bit better. I have a little bit more of your perspective. You have a little bit more of my perspective. And everybody can move the fuck on. Not in a bad way, but And I've been fighting my entire life to get to that. Not the death part. I mean, although you would argue that from a metaphorical stance, we're all dying, blah, 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 whatever. I've been fighting to get to that good person. I've been fighting to get through all the muck and all the bullshit and finally get to who I am at my core. I thought I knew who that was in my younger days. I thought that I was never going to be more than a piece of shit that would cheat on his wife and drink constantly or pop pills or do coke or whatever dumb shit I was doing at the time. I thought I was never going to be more than that. I thought I was going to be stuck in that for my entire life. And I had multiple opportunities to stay in that lifestyle or to keep perpetuating those same cycles because I was used to it. We all grew up around what we grew up around. I have the ability to drag myself the fuck out of it. And I have. I've disassociated with those people, quote unquote. Some of them I felt guilty about. Some of them I don't lose a goddamn wink of sleep over. Some of them hurt more than others. But just because we lived in the chaos for so long doesn't mean we have to stay in it. And that's the biggest thing I've learned in this past decade, half decade, whatever. We don't have to stay in the shit. We can climb out of the shit. Just because you're around negative people your entire life and you find yourself gravitating towards more negative people as you get older, that doesn't mean you have to keep doing it. That doesn't mean you have to perpetuate the cycle. You can break free of it. You can break free of it if in no other way than you change your mindset. Because my shit's not doom and gloom anymore. Do I occasionally wait for that other shoe to fall? You bet your ass I do. But overall, I could give a fuck less if the shoe's coming or not. Because what does it mean? Things fuck up. Things go sideways. Okay, let's pivot, figure this shit out, and keep moving on. Because that's what we're supposed to do. We're not supposed to stay stagnant. We're supposed to change. We're supposed to grow. And you can't grow without all those growing pains. Sometimes those growing pains are having to admit to your addictions and your vices. Paying the piper, so to speak. I don't think it's Roddy that they're talking about whenever they say that. But who knows? Sometimes it means saying goodbye to, maybe not goodbye, but I'll see you when I see you. To a lot of people that have impacted your life at different points. Does it always come to that? No. Are you going to have disagreements where it feels like that and it does go that way? Absolutely. But you can't let your feelings for somebody deter you from your needs. And I've had to come to grips with that personally. I have my own ideology. I have my own moral compass. There's certain things I want to be around, certain things I don't. Certain people I don't. And come hell or high water, I'm going to stick to it. I spent too much time in my life people pleasing, just kind of going with the crowd so as to not rock the boat, all that shit. And where's it got me? I'm older. I'm stressed. I have anxiety, depression, borderline PTSD. Well, not borderline. I have PTSD. Borderline bipolar. And I'm just supposed to keep doing all that same stuff. I'm supposed to keep perpetuating it just so I don't upset somebody else. Like Dustin Poirier said last night, you can kiss my whole asshole. That's a great quote, by the way. We all need to stand up for ourselves a lot more. We all need to do the things that we feel are right, regardless if anybody else thinks it's right, or regardless if anybody thinks we're being self-righteous or have a superiority complex or whatever. And if that's the place you're coming from, you're an asshole too. But that's not where I try to come from. Where I try to come from is from a place of love and light. That sounded really woo-woo. But it's true. I try to come from that place. I don't try to come from the negative place, like, fuck you and da-da-da. And like, no. I just can't deal with it anymore. I can't deal with negativity or stupidity or just out and out blatant disrespect. Whether it's directed at me or directed at somebody else, I don't like to be around it. Can't stand it. I don't like people that talk a bunch of shit about other people behind their back. Because I know if they're talking shit about that person, what the fuck are they saying about me? And I don't dig that because I don't talk about people behind their back. If I have something to say about somebody, I'll say way worse to their face. Because I'm honest to a fault. Lost many friends that way. I'm probably going to lose some more. But I'm not losing sight of what I want to do. I'm not losing sight of who I want to be anymore. I want to be the person my kids look at and they're proud every single day. They're like, you know what? Dad wasn't perfect. He made a lot of mistakes, but you know what? He got his ass up every morning and he fought. He tried. He kept pushing even when he felt like everything was trying to keep him down. He didn't give up. He got out of bed. He literally got out of bed every morning and worked. That's what I want. That's the change that I'm working for. Not saying I'm not already there, but forest and trees, blah, 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 blah. I hope everybody has an amazing week. I hope you do something this week to help you grow. To help set a boundary with somebody that you care about. Not to distance yourself from them, but to improve your relationship. I hope you talk more in this next week. To anybody. To anybody and everybody. Not about innocuous shit, but about something that means something to you. So they can understand you better. I'll talk to you guys next week. Be good to each other, but most importantly, be good to yourself.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode. If you like the show or know somebody who would, please subscribe and share to help us grow the show. You can follow us on all socials at That Infernal NPC. You can listen on YouTube and Podbean at That Infernal Noise or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Please tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.